Welcome guys and welcome to a new market update. It's been almost a week since I've been making an update. Apologies for that. But today we're going to discuss Bitcoin and Ethereum as we are currently still hovering around 46k. The reason why I've not been making an update was simple. We have been enjoying our time in Dubai. Was quite busy with networking and also with partying and being in the sun, so I took some time off. But from this week on we are back with the daily updates, and today is the first one in which we're going to discuss Bitcoin and Ether. Before we're going to continue, make sure to subscribe beneath, like this YouTube update, check out my Twitter and Instagram where I'm making daily updates on the markets as well, and don't forget to subscribe beneath and like the YouTube update. Also, coming weeks I will not be staying in Amsterdam. I'll be visiting the Bitcoin conference in Miami during the coming week. I'm flying tomorrow, so the update tomorrow will be about Silica, but will be made today, so you can still see the actual content. Next week I'll be in Paris, as there's the Paris blockchain week. So we're going to have some hopping through cities around the globe, and after that I'll be staying into Amsterdam for several weeks. So when we're looking at the markets, we have been trading it with let's say proper, beautiful and good profit in the past few weeks in our group, and today is the last evening that you can actually enjoy the additional discount, which is 35%. Check out in the description beneath and in the pinned comment as well. 35% on your gold membership, first 3 and 12 months, only tonight until 12 p.m. Central European time, before we're going to head over towards our new website. So when we're looking at the markets at this stage, I think we're just consolidating. We've just had a beautiful run. The month has ended. We also still have those astrology signals that we're currently going to get a correction. But if we're looking at the markets, we've had some serious momentum around the altcoin markets too. Bitcoin has been showing some strength. Ethereum has been hitting a crucial resistance zone too, which we'll be looking at relatively soon. And overall, if we are looking at the macro scope of the markets, currently the Fed has hiked the interest rate. Not really important as it's only 0.25%. We've also seen that the situation in Ukraine is getting different, or at least there is a new situation which is kind of neutral, or people accepted it, through which the trading started again and risk on assets started to do pretty well. So crypto has been going up, and Bitcoin has been going up for several weeks already since the high, since the low around 37k. It has been going up until 46 and even higher. Ethereum has been going up and showing even more strength, as we have been hitting $3,600 too. And in that way, the expectation is that we're continuing the upwards momentum. But let's have a look at the charts, as buying right now with some of the altcoins is kind of tricky to do. So in order to do so, I think you should actually be looking at some lower levels in which a natural correction is pretty fine to expect. And in that way, we're going to get towards the charts. I'm going to give you some important levels that we could be looking at, and overall what the markets are saying at this point. So let's head towards the charts. If we're looking at the charts for Bitcoin, the charts are pretty simple, right? We have been making higher lows here, in which the momentum has been going upwards. We've actually got a breakout, right? So we've got the structure that we have been taking the liquidity above these highs, and we have actually been taking the high here too, through which we are creating ourselves momentum, creating a higher high. And as we have been breaking out of this 2-month range, it seems quite likely that the chances are that we're going to continue moving and get ourselves in the next range, because this area between 46 to 51k, that is the next area where we could be expecting continuation to be happening. So in that way, you clearly want to see Bitcoin sustain above the level 44.6 to 44.7, as that is the previous high, right? So when we're zooming in a little bit more, we can actually see that the area to hold was the area where we bounced from, and actually we're currently just consolidating after sweeping or testing here for resistance. You clearly don't want to see Bitcoin fall beneath 44.7, as then we can conclude that these previous highs are actually resistance, and we have been creating a fake out here. If we lose the level at 44.7, it seems very likely that we're going to have downwards continuation, in which we might be even testing the low. So I clearly want to see it sustain here. Plan B could be that we are going back towards 42k, and after that we can continue the momentum. But overall, I clearly want to see it sustain above 44.7, and then we can start targeting 51k before we can get an additional corrective move. So what are the areas to watch? Well, technically speaking, anywhere between 44.7 to 45.7 would be a long area based on the daily time frame. Very simple stop loss to place too. If we can't hold that level, I'm expecting that we're going to get towards 42k. Continuation towards 51k, the levels are still clearly the same. When we're looking at Ether, we actually got towards an upwards trend too. We have been making higher lows, we have been sweeping the previous highs, and we are continuing the actual momentum towards the next resistance zone, as we have been sweeping the final high too, and the next resistance zone can be found at around 36, and we've got one at 38. So I would not be expecting it to break through that resistance in one go. Small bearish divergence being created here too, and currently it's hovering at the crucial level of support. If that is lost, I'm assuming we're going to retest 3100 again, and then I'm also assuming that Bitcoin will be having some short corrective moves to be taking place. So overall, if we're looking at the markets at this point, it seems quite likely that after such a trend of a few weeks, there will be some sort of corrective move. But what are you expecting to see happening when it comes to the markets? You clearly don't want to see it go, well, let's say you don't want to see Ethereum go all the way towards 2.8, for instance. That will be a sign of weakness. You want to see a relatively short corrective move in which Ethereum might be going towards 32, 31, lower side of this range, retesting some important levels, and then we can start expecting continuation to take place, as when we are breaking through 36, the next resistance zone that we could be looking at is 4100 and maybe even 43. So in that case, it's very likely that we're going to have such a corrective move, right? Or at least have some sort of sideways momentum, which we have been having here too. In that case, I'm expecting that the range low will be around 31 for Ether, and that when we are breaking through the resistance zone, we might be getting towards 43 before we get our standard 20 to 30% correction. For Bitcoin, that would also be the case that we're going towards 42. That would be feeling quite odd, because then we're breaking back down into the range and then you're not really sure when to take the long. But anywhere between 36 and the level of 44.7, I would still be looking at an area around 41.7 to 42k to actually find yourself some support there. When we're looking at the altcoins, I would definitely argue to avoid going into heavy longs, especially when we just have been seeing a massive run. When we're looking at Silica, for instance, I've been clearly saying that the area around 3.2 cents was an important one. Now we are seeing the actual momentum that has been going after us. We have been running for 500+%, and the correction has already been taking place. Tomorrow I'll be discussing Silica some more. Right now I can just say that you should be patient on when you want to enter into altcoins again. This is another one, Scale. It has been running beautifully here, in which we are having a pretty decent run. But if we want to look at an important level that we should be holding and could be taking as an entry point, I think we should be looking at the area around 18 cents, as we are also seeing confluence here with this order block. So we've just had this beautiful run, and therefore altcoins have been making that momentum, or has been making some substantial runs, and now we're getting into the part where we're going to correct to create ourselves that higher low before we can start continuing with the entire markets in the next run. That's the update for today. Don't forget to subscribe beneath, and I'll see you again tomorrow with the Silica update.